Have you ever felt that just when things are going perfectly, he suddenly pulls away? You're not imagining it. This isn't about him losing interest. It's about how human emotions work. And the truth is, understanding this could change everything in your relationships. Key point 1, don't chase, build intrigue. When it comes to relationships, one of the most common patterns that women fall into is the trap of chasing. When a man starts pulling away, when his attention feels inconsistent, when he seems distant, it triggers an almost automatic reaction. You start to pursue, you call more, text more, overanalyze his every word, and find yourself desperately trying to fill the gap he's leaving behind. But here's the truth that so few people ever tell you. Chasing does not create attraction, it destroys it. Attraction thrives on mystery, on confidence, and on the sense that someone has their own life, their own energy, and their own magnetic presence. The moment you chase, you step out of your own power and hand it over to someone else. You start measuring your worth based on how much attention you can get. And when he doesn't give it, you feel anxious, insecure, and powerless. The irony is that the more you chase, the more he naturally pulls away. Human psychology is fascinating, and it works in ways that often feel counterintuitive. Men, like anyone, are drawn to energy that is alive, vibrant, and independent. They are wired to seek challenge, to be curious, to want to explore someone who has depth and substance. When you give all your energy away in pursuit, there's nothing left to wonder about. You remove the mystery, the intrigue, the sense that being with you is a privilege rather than a given. Chasing creates pressure, and pressure kills desire. Desire thrives in space, in freedom, and in knowing that someone has boundaries, a life, and priorities beyond just the relationship. When you start chasing, it signals to him that your happiness is dependent on his presence, that your self-esteem is tied to his attention, and that your energy is available on demand. That's not attractive. That's exhausting. That's a connection that will always feel unbalanced. Instead, the power lies in building intrigue. Intrigue is subtle. It's not about playing games, but about living authentically and allowing your life to be compelling and full. When a man sees that you have a life you love, passions you nurture, friendships you cherish, and goals you're actively pursuing, he experiences curiosity. He wants to know more about the person whose life feels rich, vibrant, and unshakably alive. Building intrigue doesn't mean ignoring him or pretending not to care. It means you care deeply about your own life, your own growth, and your own happiness first, and from that place, you allow the connection to grow naturally. When you live this way, you stop reacting impulsively to every small sign of distance. You stop obsessing over text messages or wondering why he didn't call back immediately. You begin to operate from a place of calm confidence, knowing that your energy is precious and that the right kind of connection will be drawn to it naturally. Intrigue is about being emotionally autonomous. It's about having a sense of self that is strong enough that someone else's attention is a gift, not a requirement. It's about radiating warmth, vibrancy, and curiosity without the underlying tension of neediness. When you cultivate this kind of presence, people don't pull away from you. They lean in. They want to be a part of the energy you carry. They are drawn to it like a magnet. One of the keys to building intrigue is focusing on yourself and your life. This doesn't mean ignoring him or withdrawing completely. It means prioritizing your goals, your passions, and your personal growth. Spend time doing things that make you feel alive, confident, and fulfilled. Engage in hobbies that light you up. Surround yourself with people who energize you, challenge you, and bring joy into your life. When you focus on yourself, your energy naturally shifts from anxiety and neediness to freedom and vitality. You start to embody the idea that you are not defined by someone else's attention, that your worth is inherent and unwavering, and that your life is full, regardless of whether he chooses to engage fully at any given moment. This shift in mindset transforms the dynamic entirely. Instead of chasing, you attract. Instead of worrying about him pulling away, you radiate a magnetic energy that makes him want to come closer. Another crucial aspect of building intrigue is mastering the art of mystery. Mystery doesn't mean deceit or manipulation. It doesn't mean hiding who you are or pretending to be someone else. It means holding a sense of depth, uniqueness, and emotional richness that can't be fully grasped immediately. People are naturally drawn to what they can't fully predict or control. When everything about you is visible, predictable and accessible at all times. It removes the element of curiosity that fuels attraction. Mystery can be as simple as having interests, experiences, or opinions that aren't always immediately shared. It's the ability to hold back some energy while still being warm, kind, and engaged. It's the art of giving enough to connect, but leaving space for him to wonder, explore, and desire more. When you cultivate mystery, you stop chasing. You stop feeling the need to fill every silence, over-communicate, or to demand constant reassurance. Instead, you allow the natural rhythm of connection to unfold, giving both of you space to be yourselves and to value the moments you choose to share. Confidence is another pillar of building intrigue. Confidence is not arrogance. It's not about pretending to be unaffected or playing games. True confidence comes from self-awareness, self-respect, and a deep understanding of your own value. When you operate from a confident space, chasing becomes irrelevant. You no longer feel desperate for validation, attention, or love. Instead, you act with clarity and intention. You know your worth, and you allow your energy to communicate that without words. Confidence is magnetic because it signals stability, maturity, and emotional strength, all qualities that are inherently attractive. When a man senses that you are confident and secure in yourself, he feels the pull to engage rather than retreat. He senses that being with you is not just an obligation, it is an opportunity to share in the richness of your life. Finally, patience is an essential ingredient in this process. Building intrigue takes time. It requires resisting the urge to chase, to react impulsively, or to fill the silence with anxious energy. Patience allows the connection to unfold naturally, creating a rhythm that fosters attraction rather than suffocates it. It teaches you to trust the process, to trust yourself, and to trust that the right kind of attention will be drawn to the right kind of energy. When you combine patience with self-focus, mystery, and confidence, you stop existing in a state of neediness and start existing in a state of magnetic presence. You stop asking for attention and start inspiring it. You stop worrying about him pulling away and start creating a connection so compelling that he wants to stay close, engage deeply, and explore the layers of who you are. Chasing might give you temporary reassurance, a fleeting sense of control, or a brief moment of validation, but it is never sustainable. True attraction is built on energy, depth, independence, and curiosity. When you shift your focus from chasing someone else to building a life that is vibrant, exciting, and fulfilling, you transform yourself into someone irresistible, not because you are playing games, but because you are fully alive. This is the essence of intrigue. It's not manipulation. It's authenticity. It's not desperation. It's freedom. And it's not about winning someone's attention. It's about naturally inspiring it through the power of your own presence. So if you ever find yourself tempted to chase when he pulls away, pause, take a breath, reconnect with your own life, your passions, your goals, and your energy. Remember that attraction thrives in space, that mystery fuels curiosity, and that confidence radiates power. By living your life fully and prioritizing your own happiness, you don't just keep his interest, you create a connection that is deep, meaningful, and mutually magnetic. You become someone worth pursuing, not because you chase, but because you are fully, undeniably, unapologetically yourself. That is the kind of energy that keeps someone close, makes them want to invest, and ensures that the relationship is built on genuine desire rather than fear, need, or obligation. Key point 2. Understand emotional space. When someone pulls away in a relationship, it can feel like a personal rejection. It can feel like something you did or didn't do is pushing them away. You might start overanalyzing every conversation, every message, every glance, trying to decode what went wrong. But the reality is far more nuanced, and understanding this can completely transform your relationships. Men, like anyone, have an emotional rhythm. They experience moments when they crave closeness and other moments when they need distance to process, reflect, or recharge. Emotional space is not a punishment, and it's rarely about you being inadequate. It's about him needing to align his feelings, thoughts, and priorities before he can fully engage again. When you understand this, you stop interpreting distance as rejection and start seeing it as an opportunity, a signal that the relationship is evolving and that he is engaging with his emotions in a healthy, necessary way. Giving emotional space is not passive. It is an active act of confidence, self-respect, and emotional intelligence. It requires you to shift your mindset, control to trust, from reaction to observation. Instead of panicking, texting excessively, or trying to fill the void he's created, you pause. You recognize that his distance is not about diminishing your worth, but about honoring his own internal process. This pause is powerful. It communicates that you are not dependent on constant validation and that you are secure in your own presence. When someone sees that you can maintain calm and composure even when they pull away, it ignites curiosity, respect, and attraction. There's a psychological truth here. People are drawn to those who can maintain equilibrium. Emotional stability is magnetic. When you allow someone the space they need while remaining emotionally steady, you become a source of calm in a world of chaos, a person they want to come back to, not because you demanded it, but because they naturally gravitate toward your energy. Respecting emotional space also allows you to step back and reflect on your own needs. Often, when someone distances themselves, our instinct is to focus entirely on them, their feelings, and their actions. But in doing so, we lose sight of our own lives, desires, and priorities. By giving space, you create an opportunity to reconnect with yourself, to strengthen your boundaries, and to ensure that you are bringing your best self into the relationship. This is not just about waiting, it's about actively cultivating your own growth. It's about making sure that when he returns, you are not the same person who panicked or became needy, but someone more grounded, self-assured, and compelling. This process of self-reflection and self-development amplifies your intrinsic value. It shows him that your energy is independent and that your happiness is not dictated by his presence or absence. Another important aspect of giving emotional space is learning to interpret signals without jumping to conclusions. Distance can feel scary, but it often contains more meaning than fear. Sometimes pulling away is a test of the connection and opportunity for both of you to realign with what truly matters in the relationship. Other times it's simply a response to stress, external pressures, or unresolved internal conflicts. By observing rather than reacting, you start to understand the rhythm of his emotions and how they ebb and flow. This observation is a skill that allows you to navigate the relationship with clarity, wisdom, and calm authority. Instead of feeding anxiety and insecurity, you respond with patience, empathy, and intelligence. When a man senses that you can understand his emotional rhythm without taking it personally, he experiences relief, trust, and admiration, qualities that deepen intimacy rather than erode it. Emotional space also provides a fertile ground for desire to grow. When someone has room to breathe, to process, and to explore their feelings independently, they often return with renewed interest, curiosity, and appreciation. Think about it. Relationships that are smothering, overly intense, or dependent often extinguish attraction because there is no breathing room. Attraction needs tension, mystery, and freedom. By giving space, you allow the natural rhythm of desire to unfold. You allow him to miss you, to reflect on what you bring into his life, and to return with genuine interest rather than obligation. This is a subtle yet powerful dynamic that transforms the way connections deepen over time. It's not about manipulation. It's about honoring natural human behavior and using insight to foster a healthy magnetic relationship. It's also important to recognize that giving space does not mean withdrawing love or attention entirely. It means calibrating your engagement so that it is intentional, balanced, and emotionally intelligent. You can remain present and warm without being overbearing or suffocating. You can communicate interest without smothering. You can nurture the connection without feeding anxiety. This balance demonstrates maturity, emotional resilience, and self-respect, all of which are incredibly attractive qualities. By mastering this art, you send a clear message: you are fully invested, but your energy is not dependent on constant affirmation. You are not seeking validation, you are offering a partnership based on mutual respect and shared energy. Learning to give space also strengthens your emotional resilience. When you stop reacting impulsively to distance, you build patience, trust, and inner calm. You develop the ability to navigate uncertainty without losing your equilibrium. These skills extend beyond the relationship itself. They enhance every aspect of your life. You become someone who can handle challenges with grace, maintain composure under pressure, and inspire confidence in others. Emotional space is not a void. It's a training ground for growth, strength, and magnetism. When you embrace it, you transform fear into opportunity, anxiety into curiosity, uncertainty into attraction. One of the most transformative aspects of understanding emotional space is realizing that it is a reflection of human complexity, not a judgment on your worth. Every person needs time to process, reflect, and integrate their experiences. Pulling away is often a natural part of that process. By respecting it, you demonstrate emotional intelligence, maturity, and self-confidence. You also create a dynamic where he feels safe, respected, and understood. Safety is the foundation of trust, and trust is the foundation of deep, lasting attraction. When a man feels that you honor his emotional space, he is more likely to open up, invest, and engage fully, not out of obligation, but out of desire and appreciation. Finally, giving emotional space allows you to maintain your authenticity. It prevents you from losing yourself in the relationship, from compromising your values, or from becoming someone you're not in an attempt to secure attention. Authenticity, magnetic. It signals confidence, self-respect, and emotional depth. When you remain true to yourself while giving space, you demonstrate that you are a complete, grounded individual, someone whose presence is a gift, not a necessity. This approach transforms the dynamic from one of anxiety and control to one of curiosity, attraction, and mutual respect. It allows the relationship to grow organically, rooted in genuine connection rather than fear, need, or obligation. In essence, understanding emotional space is about mastering the delicate balance between connection and freedom. It's about respecting his need for reflection while maintaining your own energy, passions, and happiness. It's about trusting the process, observing without reacting, and cultivating patience, empathy, and emotional intelligence. It's about creating an environment where attraction, curiosity, and desire can flourish naturally. When you embrace emotional space, you stop chasing, you stop overanalyzing, stop feeling insecure. Instead, you operate from a place of power, presence, and magnetic confidence. You allow the relationship to breathe, to evolve, and to deepen in a way that is sustainable, healthy, and deeply fulfilling. The truth is, relationships are not about control, they are about energy. They are about creating an environment where two people can thrive individually while also sharing a connection that is compelling, passionate, and mutually satisfying. Emotional space is a crucial ingredient in this process. It is not distance to fear. It is a tool to wield with grace, intelligence, and insight. By mastering it, you transform how he experiences you, how he values you, and how the connection grows over time. You become someone irresistible not because you demand attention, but because you radiate confidence, depth, and understanding. You become someone who can navigate the natural ebb and flow of emotions without losing yourself, without panicking, and without chasing. Become someone magnetic, empowered, and ready for a connection that is truly extraordinary. Key point 3. Keep the connection alive. Once you understand why he pulls away and you've mastered giving him the emotional space he needs, the next step is equally vital: keeping the connection alive. Many people mistakenly believe that giving space means withdrawing completely, going silent, or pretending you don't care. But the truth is, relationships thrive when both freedom and engagement are balanced. Keeping the connection alive isn't about chasing or over-communicating. It's about maintaining an energy that is warm, magnetic, and intriguing. It's about being present in a way that draws him closer, even when he steps back, without compromising your own independence. This is where the subtle art of connection becomes transformative. Connection is not just physical or verbal, it's emotional, mental, and energetic. It's the way you make someone feel when they're around you, the spark that keeps them curious, invested, and emotionally engaged. To keep this connection alive, you have to focus on the quality of your interactions, not the quantity. Every message, every conversation, every shared moment should carry intention, curiosity, and emotional resonance. Instead of sending texts just to fill silence, focus on sending messages that spark thought, laughter, or meaningful reflection. Instead of constantly trying to elicit a reaction, create moments that make him want to respond. When your interactions are meaningful, playful, and full of positive energy, he feels drawn to you naturally rather than obligated. This is the essence of keeping connection alive. You become a source of intrigue and positivity, someone whose presence adds value, excitement, and warmth to his life. Maintaining connection also requires consistency in your energy. Emotional stability is magnetic. When someone knows that you are grounded, confident, and emotionally available without being needy, they feel safe to open up. They feel drawn to your calm energy because it balances their own uncertainties. This doesn't mean being predictable or boring. It means being reliable in your presence, consistent in your engagement, and authentic in your communication. Men, like anyone, are attracted to people who bring calm, clarity, and joy into their lives. When you maintain this energy while still respecting boundaries, you create a connection that is both compelling and sustainable. The moment you start oscillating between over-eagerness and withdrawal, the energy becomes chaotic and attraction diminishes. The key is to remain steady, warm, and engaging while allowing the natural rhythm of the relationship to breathe. Playfulness is one of the most powerful tools to keep connection alive. Light-hearted teasing, shared jokes, and playful interactions trigger positive emotions, which are critical for attraction. When a man associates your presence with joy, laughter, lightness, he unconsciously seeks more of it. Playfulness creates a safe space for vulnerability without heaviness. It allows tension to transform into desire, curiosity, and excitement. Even when he pulls away temporarily, playful energy reminds him why he enjoys being with you, why he values your presence, and why the connection feels effortless. Playfulness, combined with emotional depth, creates a dynamic where he is drawn to you on multiple levels intellectually, emotionally, energetically. Curiosity is another essential ingredient in maintaining connection. Humans are naturally curious, and when you foster an environment where curiosity thrives, attraction flourishes. Ask thoughtful questions, show genuine interest in his passions, his thoughts, and his experiences, and create moments of discovery. At the same time, share your own layers gradually, allowing him to explore your personality, values, and passions without revealing everything at once. This balance between revealing and discovering sustains intrigue. It keeps him engaged mentally and emotionally, constantly wanting to know more, and prevents the relationship from becoming predictable or stagnant. Curiosity is not manipulation. It's about cultivating a dynamic where both of you are actively engaged in discovering, understanding, and appreciating each other's depth. One of the most overlooked aspects of keeping a connection alive is maintaining a sense of independence and mystery. This might seem counterintuitive. How can you remain independent while keeping someone engaged? The answer lies in energy, priorities, and boundaries. When you have a full life outside the relationship, friends, passions, work, hobbies, personal growth, your energy becomes magnetic. He sees that you are complete, fulfilled, and vibrant, and this naturally fuels desire. Mystery comes from not being completely accessible at all times, from having aspects of your life that he cannot fully predict or control. By maintaining this balance, you prevent the relationship from slipping into monotony, and you keep the emotional tension alive, the tension that fosters attraction. Emotional resonance is also critical. To keep the connection alive, focus on creating moments that trigger feelings, moments of joy, excitement, vulnerability, or shared understanding. When he feels that being with you is an experience rather than a routine, the connection deepens naturally. It is not about grand gestures. It is about small, consistent actions that make him feel understood, appreciated, and connected. Listening actively, remembering the details he shares, and responding with warmth and thoughtfulness shows that you value the relationship while keeping your own energy intact. Emotional resonance ensures that the bond is not just functional but alive with meaning, curiosity, and desire. Another powerful tool is the subtle art of contrast. In every relationship, moments of closeness and distance create a rhythm that sustains attraction. When you allow him space, he experiences a desire to return. When you engage meaningfully, he experiences the reward of connection. This ebb and flow is not manipulation, it is natural human psychology. By consciously balancing availability and independence, you create a dynamic where connection feels alive, fluid, and compelling. It becomes less about control and more about energy exchange, curiosity, and mutual appreciation. Keeping the connection alive also requires self-awareness. Be conscious of how your energy impacts him. Are your interactions adding tension, stress, or anxiety? Or are they generating joy, curiosity, and attraction? Your emotional presence is powerful. It communicates more than words ever can. By cultivating awareness of your own energy, emotions, and actions, You ensure that every interaction reinforces attraction, engagement, and curiosity rather than insecurity, pressure, or fatigue. The more aware you become, the more intentional your presence is, and the more magnetic the connection becomes. Vulnerability, when expressed appropriately, is another key ingredient. Sharing glimpses of your authentic self, your thoughts, your feelings, your fears, and your dreams creates emotional depth. Men are drawn to emotional depth, especially when paired with independence, confidence, and warmth. Vulnerability, when balanced with strength, reinforces intimacy without smothering. It signals trust, openness, and authenticity, which are essential for a deep, meaningful connection. When he senses that you can be open without losing your composure, without demanding constant reassurance, he feels safe to mirror that vulnerability. This creates a bond that goes beyond surface-level attraction and becomes deeply engaging on multiple levels. Finally, keeping the connection alive is about energy alignment. Attraction is an exchange of energy, not just words or actions. When your energy is positive, magnetic, and emotionally intelligent, he feels naturally drawn to you. When your energy is anxious, needy, or reactive, he feels the pull to retreat. By maintaining your energy, nurturing curiosity, and fostering playful, meaningful interactions, you create a dynamic where connection is effortless yet compelling. He does not feel pressured, controlled, or obligated. He feels drawn, inspired, and engaged. This is the essence of keeping a connection alive, creating an environment where desire, curiosity, and emotional resonance thrive naturally, even when challenges arise. In essence, keeping the connection alive is not about controlling him, chasing him, or constantly proving your worth. It's about creating an energetic, emotional, and intellectual environment that is compelling, intriguing, and deeply resonant. It's about balancing freedom and closeness, curiosity and depth, playfulness and vulnerability. It's about maintaining your own vibrancy, passions, and independence while offering warmth and emotional resonance in the relationship. When done correctly, keeping the connection alive ensures that he feels drawn to you, invested in you, and genuinely excited to be with you, not out of obligation, but out of desire, appreciation, and curiosity. It is a dance of energy, presence, and emotional intelligence that sustains attraction, deepens intimacy, and makes the relationship profoundly magnetic and fulfilling. By mastering this balance, you stop living in fear of distance, rejection. You stop overanalyzing his actions or words. You become someone who commands respect, admiration, and desire naturally. You become someone whose presence energizes, inspires, and excites. You become someone who can navigate the complexities of human connection with grace, wisdom, and confidence. Keeping the connection alive is not just a tactic, it is a lifestyle, an energy, and a mindset that transforms how men experience you and how relationships flourish. It ensures that even when challenges arise, even when distance appears temporarily, the bond remains strong, vibrant, and alive with curiosity, desire, and emotional resonance.